a game, it's a rich thing. It's not a game, it's a rich thing. not a game, it's a rich thing. It's not a game, it's a rich thing. again. It's a red skin.
That will go out for a Mallorca throw.
I'd imagine, Peter, I guess that everybody around the world watching this service from La Liga TV will be saying, well, of course, for Sergio Rico, for the centre-backs, it's a big test against Real Madrid with 71 goals shared between Vinicius and Benzema in terms of hitting the net and assists. Of course, the big thing that Madrid have said is they're going to press high, they're going to harass defenders. They did it against Donnarumma in midweek, and therefore Vallier and Raio are going to be tested tonight. They're going to be asked, can you pass the ball well under pressure? Sergio Rico big test against Donnarumma was. That's one of the 71 goals shared between Vinicius and Benzema in terms of hitting the net and assists. Of course, the big thing that Madrid have said is they're going to press high, they're going to harass defenders.
We have got Bruno Fernandes picks what are the conditions like? Bruno, swirling winds, certainly pre-match.
Can you pass the ball well?
Good evening, Pete, Graham, everybody watching from home. It's been a couple of days with rough weather, you could say, here in Mallorca, and it has been windy today, and as you all know, the stadium is open on both ends, meaning that when it is windy here, it does really hit the ground, and it could affect playing conditions. It has died down a little bit, though, since the game has started, so hopefully it won't affect the game too much.
Inclement conditions by Mallorca standards, of course, we should add. The ball goes out to Lucas Vazquez. He's got Rodrigo ahead of him. Rodrigo made such an impact when he came on in that game against PSG for Asensio. Back to Nacho. And here's Mon. Vinicius to Benzema, quickly into the feet of Toni Kroos. Vinicius will chase that one into the corner, and he gets there as well. Still Vinicius, Maffeo trying to keep him outside the penalty area. Lucas Vazquez back to Nacho. Here's Alaba. The other two players who are one yellow card away from missing the next game, Casemiro and Mendy, so the two players who were in the same situation in the first leg against PSG and didn't pick up a booking and did miss the second leg. The ball goes out to Rodrigo. Casemiro to Valverde. Ball over the top from Lucas Vazquez. Nicely taken into his stride by Rodrigo. He's inside the penalty area. And in the end, Brian Olivan clears towards Morici. Vinicius away from Maffeo. We pointed out those slip-ups this season, Graham, and they have come against teams lower down in the table, haven't they? Particularly the defeats against Getafe and Espanyol.
What you get, Pete, I'm absolutely convinced after the time that you and I have spent reporting on big teams is a Pavlovian effect, that if you tell them we're going to come and beat you, if you're a big rival with a big history, then very often what you get is absolute warriors like Modric, like Benzema, like Courtois at their absolute best. If it's just another Saturday afternoon and it happens to be Cadiz or it happens to be Getafe, then it's almost completely subconscious that even great players dip the level and kind of assume, well, if I show my quality, that will be enough. And sometimes quality, if you're against a team that's really up for it, isn't enough. That's where those points have been cast aside. But you'd agree, the first 5 minutes of this game, you know, there's a zip about Real Madrid looking as if they're purposeful.
Olivan with a throw in towards Murici, headed away by Casemiro. Antonio Sanchez, designated partner tonight in centre midfield alongside Bava. Kubo's got away from Casemiro. Kubo goes down. He gets a nudge on his way down from Casemiro. It's not enough to convince the referee that should be a free kick. Lucas plays the ball forward to Casemiro. Benzema lets that run intelligently for Toni Kroos, and he sends Vinicius away. Benzema sprinting through the middle. He's been given it back by Vinicius. Benzema with a chance here, and it's well saved by Sergio Rico. The first chance of the game for Real Madrid. Vinicius and Benzema, the partnership of the season really in La Liga, linking up again.
There's a really, really intelligent piece of play there. We'd seen one earlier on from Raillo. This isn't given as a foul, and therefore Santi Martinez is judged, I think, by Angel, who puts the shove in.
Ball comes out to Mendy. Mendy shoots! And just past Sergio Rico's right hand upright.
I'm certain it was Angel who made the chase back, and certainly whatever happens, the player makes a decision that, having seen what happened at the other end of the pitch, he can just risk the most minor touch to try and put Benzema off his stride. He does so, otherwise that was 1-0.
Toni Kroos with the corner. Rodrigo wins the aerial duel with Kubo, and Kubo goes down again, and this time Kubo does get the decision.
Wow.
It was a little bit more than a push as well.
First one's a foul. Second one is very close to a punch, and indeed it was the ex-Getafe striker who just bullies Benzema, and you won't use that phrase more than once in your life. Angel bullies Benzema sufficiently for the referee to apply the same criteria as he did when Casemiro had a little shove at Taki at the other end. It's consistent from the referee, but Angel took a big risk.
Supporters at the Visit Mallorca Stadium, Bruno, quite away from the pitch, but it feels tonight like they're making themselves heard right behind the team. They know how important this game is.
As you point out, ever since they made the move to this stadium from the old Juicy Garden, the stands have been quite far away with the athletics track, but in behind that goal where Sergio Rico is now, they've put a supporters end where it's sort of more hardcore Mallorca fans that make the most noise and sing throughout the game. They're close in behind the goal, and there is a special buzz in the air, special atmosphere. There always is when Real Madrid's in town. It goes for any team in La Liga Santander. It's always a special occasion. It's no different tonight in Mallorca.
Well, Mallorca will be kicking into that end in the second half. We just saw again there the little clip around the face that Rodrigo gave Kubo, whether deliberately or inadvertently. The ball goes back to Sergio Rico. 1-1 forward to Murici. Nacho wins that in the air. Cross to Vinicius. Lucas Vázquez back to David Alaba. Valverde. Lucas picks out Mendy. Real Madrid keeping possession and creeping forward here. Mendy on the edge of the area. He thought about the shot there. Back to Benzema. Benzema to Toni Kroos, exchanging passes with Valverde. Doesn't get the return though, and Mallorca can clear, but only as far as Casemiro. Now Kubo has it, a little bit of space out wide. Still Kubo threads that one through, or certainly tried to find Dani Rodriguez, but it's intercepted in Madrid. Can come right back up Mallorca. Vinicius to Benzema. Vinicius away from Bava. Couldn't find Benzema though. Well, it's a frenetic start. Good rhythm in the first 10 minutes or so from both sides.
I think we saw, Pete, there one of the works in progress about Take's skill set, in that he's technically very good. He's increasingly quick. The gym work is helping him. But he took the all or nothing pass there. Now, if you pull it off and you go 1-0 up after 10 minutes, I hope Real Madrid, you're a hero. But when you're on the break like that, you have equal or over numbers. The next pass needs to be a red shirt. It's even worth being percentage safe, getting it out wide, recycling the ball so it can be centred into Muriqi. And Take went for the hero ball. It didn't come off. That means it was a mistake.
Brian Olivan's cross has a chance here, and he's sent it wide, Muriqi. Well, he's got 2 goals already. He has made an impact since arriving on loan from Lazio, and he got on the end of that Brian Olivan cross. A chance for Mallorca.
It's really one that he has to put on target. He's untouched by any marking. It's off, the fact that he's off balance is his own fault. The ball's actually perfect for a right-footed finish, and the Albanian Kosovan has done poorly there, but it looks exactly the type of thing that Mallorca want to feed. If they can get the ball in, whether it's from Brian or Maffeo to Muriqi, he's got every chance of doing damage to Real Madrid.
Well, he's already shown us how good he is in the air. I think first game for Mallorca, he beat the record for the number of aerial duels won in a match. Here's Rodrigo. Lucas Vazquez on the overlap, doesn't use it, goes long. Maffeo clears, but straight to Vinicius. Back to Mandi. Alaba back out to Mondi. Maffeo with the clearance, but it goes straight to Alaba. Well, you mentioned Kubo's development. He arrived at Real Madrid a year after Vinicius, but at the moment he seems still a fair way behind him in terms of his development. Vinicius having an incredible season, as is this man, Benzema. He's given the ball to Rodrigo. Rodrigo back to Benzema, cleared by Babo. The flag was up anyway.
Yeah, Taki Kubo is first of all unlucky that he hasn't been able to do his development at Real Madrid, which Vinicius has. And because he is a Japanese passport holder, that meant that in terms of the number of non-EU players, he didn't have an opportunity. This ball in there which catches out Alaba and perhaps preys on the fact that Militao is absent. I agree with you, he'd have been rested anyway, but the word was that he had a cold, he had a bad night's sleep, and that tilted Ancelotti's idea towards leaving him at home in the Spanish capital. But Take has been under Unai Emery, where he wasn't properly used, and word from Mallorca is that he's maybe not as happy as he might be. They are hoping, quite clearly hoping, that he doesn't get repatriated to Madrid, that first of all they keep him for another year and then perhaps even sign him. Let's see how that strategy works out.
Hopefully he's brought down by Casemiro.
This is a referee, Pete, he took a long think about that and won't appreciate it being pressurised about a booking for Casemiro. But he comes into this match off the back of an interesting performance refereeing Villarreal against Real Madrid, where Albiol quite patently clattered Vinicius. There was no decision given when it looked like a red card, after which Dani Parejo put a clout round the neck of Vinicius. Again, no interference from the referee, and finally Asensio went completely over the ball. Looked like a red card challenge. He comes into this match with people maybe watching closely about how he makes the big decisions, even more than usual.
Brian Olivan delivers the free kick. He wins the header, but there's no one to get on the end of it. Angel and Mandi. Back to David Alaba. Rafael pressing Vinicius, following him into his own half. Clearance from Valien. Murici's under this. Alaba wins it. No foul, says the referee. And Antonio Sanchez heads that one towards Kubo. Madrid win it back. Nacho. Rodrigo back to Lucas. Brilliant again from Cruz, just guiding that into the path of Casemiro. Vinicius, Benzema and Rodrigo on the edge of the area. Back to Casemiro. Toni Kroos drives that across the face of the penalty area. It's cleared by Antonio Sanchez. Valien. Rodriguez allowed that to run. Murici has got Angel ahead of him. Kubo's in space. He's got Brian Olivan on the overlap as well, and fairly agricultural challenge from Fede Valverde.
Jackie Kubo's the luckiest man on the planet, because he gets given the ball by Murici, and he takes a look up to see where the striker is while he hasn't got control of the ball, and he's let it run away from himself. My taste is that he fouls Valverde, but look at the control. The control is far too loose there. He lets it away from himself. It's perfectly legitimate for Valverde to come into it. And Taki Kubo is playing like somebody who, rather than saying my job is to be effective, my job is to help the team, I think he looks like a young man who's trying to impress, and that's not the right way to go about it.
Not going to help Mallorca's cause tonight. There is one man who is hugely impressive against Paris Saint-Germain, Camavinga, and he's sat alongside, of course, one of Mallorca's favourite sons, Marco Asensio. Scored a hat-trick for them, scored a hat-trick for Real Madrid, I should say, against Mallorca in the 6-1 game earlier in the season. Played 56 games for Mallorca, and he's never played in this fixture since leaving the club. But no sentiment from Ancelotti picking his team tonight, as you'd expect. They've got a good opportunity now, Mallorca. Daniel Rodriguez is over the ball. Brian Olivan is there as well.
But there's one target. He's not going to beat Courtois from this range. It has to be to Murici. If not, it's very naive.
It's Daniel Rodriguez who rolls it to Kubo, and Kubo does go for goal, and it trickles wide.
Look at Murici turn round as if to say, what the hell was that? He's got the beating of Alaba. He's definitely got the beating of Nacho. The marking is for Monday, and look at the disgust.
We saw it there.
Lads, have you seen my height?
Here's Toni Kroos being pressed by Bava. He's been dispossessed by Bava, but referee not happy with the challenge. Gives the free kick. Here's Valverde. Sprints away from two Mallorca players and finds Benzema. Brian Olivan just about gathers that up and clears. Quite worked out for Angel Rodriguez. Signed in the summer, only 3 goals so far. Curse of the super sub, really played a few more starts for Mallorca, but the goals haven't come as yet. Here's Vinicius trying to get away from Rayo. And to his frustration, the free kick is awarded against him when it may well have been just 6 of 1 and the proverbial half a dozen of the other. Let's have a look at it. 2 players going for the ball, no?
Pete, pardon my rudeness, but I'd love to know from Bruno. You can hear a massive amount of shouting being done at Takikubo, and I presume it's his manager or one of his assistants. I'm not quite clear what they're trying to convey.
Yeah, non-stop shouting from Luis García Plaza, but also, as you say, from Pedro Rostoy, his assistant manager, is very involved. They're trying to get the message across, but a lot of the time, as Takikubo's on the other wing, you can see that they've been speaking to Baba or to Mafeo to try and get a message across to the other side. But a lot of involvement, as you say, from the backroom staff and from Luis García Plaza in these opening exchanges of the game.
This time it's Dani Rodriguez who's penalised. Free kick for Real Madrid.
Butter wouldn't melt in his mouth, eh?
Tony Kroos will take the free kick. Headed away by Morici, whose aerial ability comes in very useful at both ends of the pitch. The flag was up anyway. Casting our minds back to that 1-0 victory for Mallorca in 2019, when Zinedine Zidane picked an under-strength team because there was a Champions League game coming up. Vinicius was in that under-strength team, and one of those who paid the price really for the defeat, because he didn't play too much after that. How things have changed.
And partly that's to do with his new coach, Pete, right? Because
yeah, absolutely.
Vinicius has innate talents and great imagination and creativity, but he's said over and over again, being trusted by Ancelotti has been a huge part of my development, a development which means that he and Benzema have shared 71 goals or assists this season.
And here he goes again. He's got his partner in crime in the middle waiting for the pass if he can find him. Baba, well, the ball runs through and almost reached Rodrigo. Deflected by Baba. Mondi. Alaba to Vinicius. Continues his run forward, Alaba. Mondi. And Dani Rodriguez penalised again, this time for a push on Vinicius.
Earlier he had a little run-in with Mondi on the touchline where the play wasn't stopped, but they came very close to going nose to nose. The blood's definitely rushing in Danny's ears at the moment, thinking, I want this scalp.
Well, another opportunity for Toni Kroos to find the head of Nacho. Benzema, Vinicius is also in the penalty area as the free kick comes in. It's headed away as far as Valverde. Was at centre forward there. He now trots back to his normal position. Benzema resumes centre forward duties. That almost reached him. Instead, Rodrigo handles it. Free kick to Mallorca.
Another interesting little cameo from Luis Garcia, the Mallorca manager, who, when the team was defending and Muriqi naturally was going to go back and try to help out, Luis Garcia stopped him and said, get up front. They want the out ball. They want to be able to find him. If they do win it deeper, he's clearly got fewer defensive duties than he's naturally inclined to give, according to that man in your picture right now.
Well, there's one for him to get on the end of, and he does, but he's been penalised. back to Alaba. He gets the ball over the top from Toni Kroos. Rafael sticking to him and puts the ball out for a Real Madrid throw.
So it's curious about the way in which the throw's gone, but his actual timing, the speed of the sprint and the jockeying were all top class against Monday.
Well, he's had a good season, Rafael, in what's not been a good season for Mallorca.
One thing that's been really clear so far, 25 minutes in, is that at no stage have Madrid really managed to press and make Mallorca uncomfortable or give the ball away consistently as they managed to do, particularly against La Real. That was probably the best instance of it in the last 2 or 3 months. They did so against Paris Saint-Germain. They swore they would try and do it again tonight. Hasn't been part of their repertoire yet.
Bang on the ear for Casemiro from Morici. Angel Rodriguez. Back to Rafael. Vinicius tried to win it back from him. Well, lots of dialogue between the Real Madrid players and Jose Maria Sanchez and Martin Valien getting himself tangled up there in the wrong place with Vinicius close at hand, but they do get rid of it, Mallorca. Real Madrid win it back. Here's Valverde looking for Casemiro. Baba intercepts. He's got it's 4 against 3 here if he plays the right pass. He doesn't play any pass. Valverde almost nicked that from him. Brian Olivan. Still Brian Olivan, scuffed the shot and well dealt with by Courtois.
What a wasted opportunity. I am, like you, a general fan of Baba in terms of what impact he can make in a team like this. The rob was perfect. The decision making then, awful.
Rafael comes away with the ball at his feet from that duel with Vinicius. That's lifted the home supporters. Here's Baba. Olivan finds Kubo, back to Baba. Nicely into Morici, but his attempt at finding Angel doesn't pay off.
Yes, not quite clicking, but they're confident.
Casemiro finds Benzema. Vinicius on the move. He's found Vinicius. Vinicius rolls the ball back to Toni Kroos. The shot comes in and just past Sergio Rico's left hand upright. Cruz with one shot just past Sergio Rico's post. At the other end, a half chance for Brian Olivan. Bruno, are you Ancelotti's side or are you Garcia Plaza's side? He's quite frustrated at the moment, Garcia Plaza inside his technical area.
I'm Carlo Ancelotti's side, so normally
you're on the
that end,
side.
Not as much activity, exactly. not as much going on. I have seen David Alaba now. He has been speaking quite a lot to Fernand Mendy, asking him to push forward a lot of the time. He wants him to open up the pitch on the left-hand side and help his teammates push forward.
Benzema finds Vinicius. Maffeo slides in. He's having a very good first half hour, Pablo Maffeo.
Referee's called this right. Perfectly fair tackle. Vinicius screams as he goes down. I don't think there's any doubt that that's a fair tackle. The crowd agree. The referee gets this right. It's old school. I see there's no foul.
That was a ferocious 50-50 as well, just earlier, Graham. But again, fair from as the yellow card come out. We're not sure who that's for, Bruno, because we were watching the replay at the time.
Yeah, it was pointed in the direction of Casemiro and Vinicius, so it could be one or the other. I think, feel by the reaction that it's Vinicius and not Casemiro.
Well, Madrid fans will hope that that's the case. Casemiro, as we said right at the start of the game, is one booking away from missing the Clásico. It does look as if it's Vinicius who's been booked. And maybe Ángel Rodríguez as well. Throw to Madrid. Vinicius clearly not happy with the fact that Pablo Maffeo wasn't penalised for the challenge on him.
What we did see is that Maffeo came in, and if it's not this expression like you're cheating, that's what he said to him right from the start, which is what got Vinicius so hot-headed. The crowd already didn't like Vinicius going down and screaming like that. Raillo came over as captain to try and get involved. I think he's one of the bookings, and Vinicius lost his temper. Simple.
Toni Kroos plays the ball back to Nacho. Cross to Rodrigo. Valverde.
You called it. Ángel booked.
Still Valverde, and he's found Mondi. Rodriguez comes across, but Mondi still has it on the edge of the area. He's tried to pick out Rodrigo, he has done. Cross is blocked by Brian Olivan. Rodrigo back to Lucas Vázquez. Here's Casemiro. Casemiro slips that through to Benzema. Olivan reads it well and clears and wins the throw. Well, there we can see the exchange between Ángel and Vinicius. He usually manages to keep his calm, doesn't he, Vinicius, and use the fact that the home support in this case are against him and he's public enemy. He's learned how to use that in his favour, but
Totally agree.
Just lost it a little bit there. Here's Pablo Maffeo. Looks for Morici, goes beyond him. It might run to Kubo. Lucas throws to Rodrigo. Olivan ready to launch one into the Real Madrid penalty area towards Morici, flicks it on, it's dropped for Ángel. Kubo, Morici with the shot, it was blocked. And problems here for Mondi, under pressure from Dani Rodriguez, works his way out of trouble and finds Alaba. Alaba forward to Casemiro. Vinicius and Maffeo. Again, high up the pitch, following Vinicius wherever he goes, prods the ball out of play. Benzema's dispossessed. Morici, one back row by Toni Kroos. And he doesn't just win it back, he finds a teammate Valverde, who's found Vinicius for some Vinicius switches play for Lucas. Rodrigo. Baba wins it back for Mallorca. Midfield to Brian Olivan. Murici to Kubo. Back to Murici. Dani Rodriguez. Good football this from Mallorca. There's a chance here for Angel Rodriguez. And it's an excellent tackle from Nacho. The danger still not be clear. Pablo Maffeo and off the post. Well, a real opportunity there for Mallorca. It was their best move of the game so far. And it almost ended with Pablo Maffeo putting them ahead. Brilliant exchange of passes between Dani Rodriguez and Murici. Nacho's challenge on Angel and Pablo Maffeo off the frame of the goal.
Referee's called that right. We've got the benefit of having seen it for a third time there. It's the crucial angle. Nacho doesn't make a foul. The crowd disagreed, but
well, Vinicius straight down at the other end, and
that won't be a foul under this referee. Crowd love that this time, of course, don't they?
Well, Jen this time with the challenge.
And you can understand, although he has to maintain his dignity, why Luis Garcia is questioning that challenge by Nacho, because he couldn't see it from the angle that you and I and the viewers have been given, where it's absolutely clear that although he's in extremis, Nacho gets away with it. But then Maffeo, to win the ball so quickly and to be just in exactly the right position to tuck it away, it's remarkable he didn't put it on target. Lovely play.
Well, it's the closest we've come so far to an opening goal.
But it mirrors, doesn't it, Peter, that the number of times that Mallorca have pressed Cruz or Valverde, that time Alaba, Mondi, into errors. It's them who are applying the technique that has been so useful for Ancelotti's side in recent weeks. They've knocked Los Blancos out of their stride.
So far, so good for Mallorca. Baba forward to Angel. Kubo. And again, he'll be disappointed there not having made more of that opportunity, Kubo.
A lot of talks between Ancelotti and Vinicius before he was telling him to maintain his calm. Obviously he's on a yellow card and perhaps Mallorca players are going to target that, but now he's telling him to make more diagonal runs. He wants him not out here on the wing, but making diagonal runs more into central areas.
Which tallies with what Alaba was saying to Mondi, that Mondi becomes the auxiliary left winger. They get superiority of numbers and Vinicius plays as an inside left off Benzema.
Dani Rodriguez for Mallorca. Ancelotti trying to find solutions to the fact that Mallorca so far have nullified the threat of Vinicius. Vinicius has taken the ball from Pablo Maffeo there, though. And this time he is brought down by him. The free kick is taken quickly. Casemiro finds Rodrigo. Laid off to Vinicius. Vinicius, he can't get the shot away, and Baba can clear. He doesn't make a very good job of clearing the ball, though. Benzema to Lucas Vázquez. Lucas Vázquez with the cross and wins the corner.
But it's really good what Vinicius did there. He did exactly the thing you were analysing for. Instead of losing his temper at there being another foul there, turning the referee in histrionics, gets up, takes the ball quickly, and suddenly Madrid are in a dangerous position. The fact they've got this corner comes from the speed of thought that Vinicius has and the way that the referee backed him. Ball was in the right place, get play going.
Tony Kroos will take it. Lofted and headed away by Rayo. Down to Lucas. Rodrigo. Cross back into the area, headed away this time by Livan. Angel on the edge of the area is robbed by Lucas, and well, the referee didn't like the challenge.
Such a risk, but he carries it off. Really brilliant judgment.
Well, he might have thought that the opportunities were opening up, Nacho, for him when Varane and Ramos left in the same summer, but Militao and Alaba have been so good this season, but the ever-reliable Nacho with a very important clearance there. And that's his long ball forward. Benzema's now chasing. And Benzema's come away with the ball. Who's up in support? In the end, it was Olivan who cleared, but straight to Valverde. Baba wins it back from Mallorca. And the ball goes out to Kubo. Kubo far too close to Courtois. Cross to Valverde, forward to Casemiro. Referee happy with that. Baba can bring the ball forward for Mallorca. Ancelotti not happy and having words with the linesman. Danny Rodriguez away from Toni Kroos.
Well done.
Well, they took the kick quickly, but got no advantage from it. Mallorca. Real Madrid win it back. Here's Casemiro. Out to Benzema. Rodrigo and Vinicius in the middle. Well cleared by Olivan, but straight to Kroos, who's put that a long way over the top of Sergio Rico's goal. Well, he was asked in the build-up to the game how he's managing to keep the euphoria at bay. He said, there is no euphoria. We've been in this business for too long to over-celebrate reaching the quarter-finals, as good as the performance was.
I beg to differ.
You think there is a sense?
I know there is. My taxi driver on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. said, my last passenger was... well, I won't name it, but he was one of Real Madrid's dominant midfielders on the night against Paris Saint-Germain. He said I picked him up from the club at 6:30 this morning. But if you knock Paris Saint-Germain out in those circumstances, you've got a day off. Your next game is not till Monday, and the manager is totally in favour. Why not? But I'd say there was a little bit of the euphoria on the dance floor of All My Club on Wednesday night into Thursday morning.
Benzema on the edge of the Mallorca area. He's flicked that one through to Vinicius. Vinicius, the shot is blocked, and it's that man again. He's having a fantastic first half. Pablo Maffeo.
Judgment, timing, even getting the length of the slide right. Don't think he was in any danger of giving away a penalty because he's so close to where Vinicius is actually releasing the ball. The shot, superb block.
Another corner for Real Madrid. Cross takes it. It's headed away by Marici. Lucas Vázquez back into the area. Again, the centre forward clears only as far as Mondi. Well, he's probably been the best player from Mallorca in the first half. He's also had their best chance, Pablo Maffeo. Mallorca holding their own against the leaders. Reached the stage of the season now where it's not just the supporters of these two clubs glued to this game. Sevilla fans will desperately be hoping that Mallorca can get a result here, and likewise down at the bottom, if you're a Granada fan or a Getafe fan, Mallorca will move above Getafe if they win tonight. Here's Mondi. Vinicius away from Pablo Maffeo. Still Vinicius. Still Vinicius. Can he find space for the shot? He lays that one off to Alaba. It's blocked, I think, by Brian Olivan.
That was sheer poetry. Vinicius dipping a shoulder one way, turning and going the other way, and leaving Maffeo completely lost. Well, we thought he was until Maffeo caught up, and then he was put on his backside. Look, that's the first turn of pace. Maffei's, I'm going to get there, I'm going to get there. Can't keep his feet. That little nick is something that's becoming very typical of Vinicius. Usually he's finding Benzema, maybe Modric. In this instance, it's perfectly set up, but the shot is blocked. Mallorca are all on board for this point that they think they're going to get.
Mondi back to Nacho. Into the last minute of the first half. Benzema. Angel back helping out his defenders once more. Dani Rodriguez to Baba.
Yeah, Baba, the only player that moved into space and showed for the ball, which is crucial when you get so little quality possession. You must keep hold of it longer than Mallorca have done for the majority of this first half.
2 minutes have been added on. Rodrigo's pass doesn't find Benzema. Cleared by Valdien. Ricci does well to win the ball in the air. He's laid it off to Kubo. He's been fouled, has he, by Lucas? No, says the referee.
But brilliant from Murici. He knows what the referee's like. He knew instantly that wasn't going to be a foul. That's why he was first to the loose ball.
He's looking a lot calmer at the moment, Garcia Plaza, than we've seen him in recent games. Back from suspension in the last game. Chance here for Angel. Managed to keep the ball in play. Kubo up against Lucas Vazquez. He gets away from Lucas. Kubo with the cross. And in the end, hooked away by Valverde. And the captain steers it back to Sergio Rico. He's been closed down by Vinicius. Mondi wins the header. Whistles from the home supporters as Madrid keep the ball inside these 2 added minutes. And there goes the half-time whistle. Well, Ancelotti not looking too happy. His team have struggled in patches in this first half. They've been on top, certainly in possession, in terms of possession. But Pablo Maffeo, shot coming back off the post, the closest we've come to a goal. Join myself, Graham, and Bruno again for the second half. But half-time here in the Visit Mallorca Stadium. It's Mallorca 0, Real Madrid 0.
Microsoft helps bring new metrics to La Liga. Go deeper into the action to analyze and enjoy more of the game you love with Beyond Stats. It's your game.
Estamos seguros que el año que viene vamos a jugar en Europa. Estamos preparando nuestras oficinas internacionales de alquiler de coches para ti, mayorista. Maria, luego vamos a Portugal.
Portugal mudou, ótimo. Nossa agência já tem uma aberta e funcionando.
Master Chief was enhanced and trained for one purpose: to win this war. He and the other Spartans are our only effective weapons against the Covenant.
Master Chief, huh?
Master Chief recovered something.
Sacred ring. Halo.
When I touched the object, I felt different.
What does one do with a superhuman you're not sure you can trust?
And you just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
Find the Halo. Win the war.
अकेले विलन की फटे तो पिक्चर हिट, साथ में हीरो की भी फटे तो समझो पिक्चर सुपर हिट। और इस बार कहानी ब्लॉकबस्टर है।
एक आदमी जो पूरी देश की मैया ठोकने वाला है,
जिसका चेहरा आज तक किसी ने देखा नहीं है और जिसके लिए कायदे से आपको आर्मी भेजनी चाहिए, उसको पकड़ने जाएंगे हम। ऐसे कामों के लिए पूरे हिंदुस्तान में हम ही एक चूतिए मिले थे आपको। हम यहाँ फेक पासपोर्ट से लेके बढ़िया पिस्तौल के सपने सजा रहे थे, पर हमें क्या मिला? इस अड्डे का मालिक कौन है? बहनचोद!
ये गाली दे रहा है कोई? क्या बोल रहा है? बहनचोद बोल रहा है।
ये अपहरण है दोस्तों, यहाँ सबका कटेगा दोबारा।
El Clasico, Real Madrid versus Barcelona. Streaming live 21st March, 1:30 a.m. onwards on Voot Select.
We are Uber, and we are in the world-changing business.
Just because they hide it in the fine print of an app don't mean it ain't a scam.
The notorious bad boy of tech.
Is this legal?
You willing to listen to wise counsel? I will always listen, but I will never take orders.
Who's ready to conquer the world?
Once, ordinary humans achieved the extraordinary.
He's the champion.
Your passion fueled perfection, and legacies were written. Once more, records will be broken. Limits will be challenged. The game will take over. A new champion will claim glory, and heads will turn. ATP Masters BNP Paribas Open. Streaming live and exclusive on Voot Select.
Random places, random people. What kind of serial killings are these?
ये तो सिर्फ शुरुआत है। गेम बहुत लंबा जाएगा लोलाक।
Look at the reaction. It's getting closer. You can feel the tension coming.
Oh, this is extraordinary play.
This match is going to be about making noise, madness, match points, Medvedev, mayhem, mania, Messi.
This time, maybe Messi's got it.
Mega clashes, mind-bending moves. Madrid playing Barcelona. Making history. March is all about a month full of sporting action. Streaming live on Voot Select.
Players disappear. Jobs disappear. Emotion disappears. When piracy appears, football disappears. Protect your team.
with 24 points. They'll leapfrog Getafe. Of course, they went down directly. The last time they came up, they didn't survive for more than one season. They're desperate to make sure that doesn't happen again. They've had a decent enough first half, Graham. Can they find that little bit, that's something extra to beat the man who is playing better this season than he's ever played before? And even before this season, he was one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Well, we'll get Graham's opinion on Courtois soon enough. Meantime...
No, Pete, it's there, right now.
Graham,
I just thought that your statement almost spoke for himself. You know, what's deeply weird and what Ancelotti reacted to was a UK-based magazine which, you know, really let itself down in that however you evaluate, for example, Ederson or Alisson, who are held to be better with their feet distributing the ball or under pressure than Courtois is, but Courtois has worked on that dramatically. I mean, really noticeably dramatically, and to great success. In terms of his last two seasons, he says himself he's never played better. I think Courtois' point partly answers his lack of appreciation, which is that because they didn't win anything last season, people forgot how well he played. As we can take a really nice look at the way in which initially Madrid looked as if they were going to canter this match. It didn't turn out that way. But the thing you would say about Courtois is it motivates him whenever he's put down like that. Now, to not be named in the top 10 goalkeepers in the world was farcical. No wonder Ancelotti said whoever wrote that shouldn't be a journalist. And I agree, take away their typewriter, take away their portable computer. I totally agree with that. I'll go further, Peter. I think that Courtois' level over the last 18 months situates him in the top 3 or 4 footballers, not goalkeepers, footballers anywhere in the world. And if the Ballon d'Or were being awarded this week, he'd be a competitor to succeed Lev Yashin 58 years later, the last goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or. There's lots of competition, but Courtois is at that level. And without his excellence this season, Real Madrid will be facing this game on the island tonight to try and keep in touch with Sevilla or whoever it would be, because he has won them point after point after point.
Well, I know you flagged up his importance ahead of the PSG game, and before all the brilliance from Benzema and Vinicius and company, it should be forgotten that he very much kept Real Madrid in the tie. He's kept a clean sheet in this first half, but so has his opposite number, Sergio Rico. It's not been the story so far for Sergio Rico since arriving. He's conceded 12 goals in the 6 games that he's played in, but his arrival at one end of the pitch and the arrival of that man there, Murici, at the other end, have given Mallorca hope, and they're on level terms with Real Madrid as we're ready to get the second half underway at the Visit Mallorca Stadium. And doesn't look as if there have been any changes at half-time, Bruno.
Well, there haven't been any changes, but both fitness coaches are heading towards the corner flag here in front of me, which means we're going to start seeing the substitutes warming up ahead of the second half.
Well, it's Mallorca on the attack, but Valverde wins the ball back for Real Madrid. Here's Lucas. Cleared by Olivan. That time of the season when the likes of Antonio Pintus come into their own, Graham, and the difference between the sides who really arrive at the business end of the season in great shape and those that don't begins to become noticeable, isn't it?
It's one of the wonders of the season. Ancelotti and Pintus took a huge risk after the first Paris game. They did a mini pre-season for players like Modric 36, Benzema 34. You risk little muscular injuries. They got none of that. They got the training exactly right. They were fitter and sharper by the end drastically so than Paris Saint-Germain. It really stands out to me. We always only talk about great substitutions, brilliant goalkeepers, wonderful goals, but the way in which the staff who keep the players on the road show perform is a defining matter in how a club performs. Yes, you're right.
Alaba comes forward for Real Madrid. Ball over the top for Benzema to chase. He won't get there though. Well, he's got the usual array of talents to call upon tonight. Ancelotti, Hazard and Bale, who've hardly featured, but there are two that may well feature sooner rather than later. Camavinga and Asensio. And Luka Modric is also on the bench, although I'm sure the idea would at least originally have been not to use him tonight.
Yeah, but he's warming up as well.
Oh, he's warming up. Thanks, Bruno.
Yeah.
So clearly Modric is not going to have the entire game watching from the sidelines. Here's Angel. Puts the ball into the area and just beyond Murici.
But we're talking about character in Luka Modric, who even at 36 is going to get a new contract, wants to stay. Has Cristiano Ronaldo's temperament, both for big games, but also he believes he should play every minute. He literally believes that. Now, Ancelotti, when he's looking at his team maestro, can't probably back that decision, but I'm sure Modric is furious he's not on the pitch yet.
Lucas closed down by Kubo. Casemiro, who's so far escaped the caution that will put him out of Sunday's game against Barcelona. Here's Benzema. Vinicius. Benzema might run to Rodrigo. Out comes Olivan. He's tripped by Rodrigo. Free kick to Mallorca.
And let's hope he continues to avoid that yellow card, because the Clasico is a spectacle, not simply because of the history, but because of the quality of the play. And Casemiro, whether you want to look on his clever dark arts, his streetwise tactics, is an absolutely outstanding football brain. If he doesn't in due course make a wonderful coach, then I'll eat my hat and yours. He is one of the brightest brains in the entire Spanish league, top league. And you know, when it comes to Barca trying to unpick Real Madrid, I definitely want to see Casemiro there to see how he copes with it.
Well, it's been a while since we've had a Clasico with both sides in such good form.
True.
And that's what we're going to get on Sunday. The ball back with Sergio Rico. Up towards Murici. Again, he wins the header. Angel can't get on to the second ball, though. Lucas steers it back to Courtois.
Nacho jumped again, and you'd wonder a little bit, while Mallorca don't want to descend into being a long ball team only, when you've got the possibility of Angel or maybe even Taki running off Murici flicks, probably it's something that Mallorca should be using a little more regularly in this particular game.
Well, Pablo Maffeo gets a talking to from the referee, and maybe that deserves a little more than a talking to. Mondi. Benzema looking for Vinicius. Can't get past Olivan. Forward to Murici.
Your point about Vinicius and that little challenge from Maffeo there. There was a big outcry, and listen, I joined it yesterday when Athletic patently targeted Fekir for Betis and eventually got him to react. And who's up there, you know, maybe a foul or two fewer than Fekir, who's the most fouled player in La Liga. It's Vinicius, and Pellegrini's words about Fekir apply equally to Vinicius. You know, the stats show the number of times the foul's been given. Often they're not.
Lucas with the cross.
And the bravery of these players, Peter, need to not only put themselves in a position to receive the ball, you know, in stressful situations, but then time and again have to take a man on, knowing that 6 times out of 10 they'll be chopped down. That's a mental fortitude that many players with similar talent don't have.
No, and clearly he has it, doesn't he, Vinicius?
It's exactly right, he does.
Mondi back to cross. Here's Valverde. One by Angel. And Kubo with a chance to break forward to Murici, flicks the ball back into Kubo's path. Lucas is back defending, but Kubo trying to get away from him, and is brought down by Lucas Vazquez.
That's the high point of Taki Kubo's match, because to tell Baba to get out of the way when you're on the run like that, you have to control the ball, you have to make the pass, and when the foul or make the possession count. And for once here, the 1-2 is really good. This time he gets in front of that little turn in front of Lucas, means that Lucas can either let him go or fouls him. That's the most consistently good, technical and intelligent football we've seen from a Japanese player tonight.
Dani Rodriguez then to deliver the free kick for Mallorca. Half of their goals this season have come from set pieces. Dani Rodriguez delivers. Flicked on by Angel, although that stat does include penalties as set plays, which I'm sure you're in agreement with me, Graham. They shouldn't be counted as set pieces. Penalties.
I won't be drawn on this. There's readers' letters coming in already as you speak. It was a man bites dog there, wasn't it? Angel's flick looking for Murici behind him. Lads, get it the right way round.
Rodrigo. Who's up to Mondi? Benzema gives it back to Mondi. And Mondi's cross is put out for a corner, although the last touch might well have come off of Mondi. Goal kick.
Bruno confirmed, Pete. I mean, it's the same subject. I'm sorry to go back to it, but it's patently clear that Luis Garcia and his staff fear that Taki is somebody who can doze off, because there's been a constant barrage of not even really sort of clear-cut, wonderful information, just shouting at him to keep his head in the game.
And even just now they were shouting at Taki Kubo because he was out wide on the left for that goal kick taken by Sergio Rico. All the players were drifting towards the right-hand side, and I have to tell him to get involved a bit more over to that side where the rest of his teammates were.
Lucas de Valverde. Baba does well, and Valverde does well to win the ball back, but the referee gives Mallorca the free kick.
Well, you have to go with the Uruguayan. There's a palpable and obvious foul on him, no question, by Baba.
And then it looks as if he wins the ball.
Missed by the referee, the fair challenge by Valverde. You're completely right. There's a foul against him. I mean, as frustrating as that is for Ancelotti, for Madrid, and it's a mistake by the referee, Valverde's reaction is to howl at the moon, not at the referee. The Italian manager's done that job for him, and then he gets on with it. Just, he's an admirable, exciting footballer, Valverde. It's just at this stage he hasn't made the breakthrough to say, I want one of those 3 places, or make this system a 4-4-2 so I can play every week.
Baba's got himself in problems here. It's Benzema, he rolls it to Vinicius. Vinicius scores! Real Madrid take the lead. A mistake from Baba. Finding the breakthrough. Vinicius strikes again. Goal number 14 in the league this season. The Mallorca players complaining to the referee, not quite sure why.
I think there's a push on Baba, Peter, and there isn't.
Well, Garcia Plaza fuming Bruno on the sidelines, but I'm not sure this is going to be overturned.
No, and the main protagonist of that incident, Baba, is the one that isn't complaining. He stayed down on the ground, head down looking towards the turf. He knew that he'd made the mistake. He knew that there was no foul there from the Real Madrid player, so absolutely no complaints from the Ghanaian, even though now some of his teammates are going towards the referee. He timidly comes across, but I think he knows that that wasn't a free kick and that was a mistake. Sound
asleep in the first half. Remember, guys, when he won the ball off Cruz, took 6-7 steps forward and then thought, well, I'll take a little pause now to think what to do, and he was robbed. You know, Valverde, I was praising him a minute ago for being fouled by Baba, winning the ball back. The referee's decision goes against him, and he doesn't go chasing the referee. He gets up, and 2.5 minutes later, he's like, revenge. I've caught you now, son. And that's goal 72 shared between those 2 men, either in goal assist they've given, or goals. In fact, given that it's assist from Benzema and a goal from Vinicius, it's goal 73 between the 2 of them, which is an extraordinary stat in March.
Well, it very much is for a partnership that we never really thought we'd see, and they are dominating the competition. Here he is, Vinicius, once more with a chance to run at Pablo Maffeo. Benzema back to cross. Here's Valverde. David Alaba with the cross. Rodrigo wins the header, but Kubo can clear if he can get away from Lucas, and he can't. Lucas wins that duel. Still Lucas. Away by Antonio Sanchez. Here's Kubo. Morici comes away with the ball. Across comes Casemiro. And free kick.
I'll tell you this, Pete. With Kangin who's out of favour at the moment on the bench, Taki Kubo will be lucky if he lasts past the hour mark. In terms of his first touch, his decision making, how he keeps the ball to try and give Mallorca breathing space, it's been a 4 out of 10 performance. Babas hasn't. Crucially, he's the one who fails. Benzema has no hesitation in feeding his partner rather than trying to score himself. But Taki Kubo is having one of those nights of nightmares.
And Luka Modric is prepared to come on for Real Madrid.
Here's Olivan. Cross comes in. Did that strike Casemiro's arm? It did. Free kick. And Mallorca players, or at least looked there as if Brian Olivan was asking for the card.
Yeah, Casemiro played by David McCallum. Sometimes he's just the invisible man, and bookings go disappearing in the night. It's a booking. It's an absolute clear and deliberate handball. The first movement of the arm is forward, as far as I'm concerned. He knows he's cutting it off. He's got away with it. Well done. All competitive sport, the 11th commandment is get away with it if you can.
Well, Modric is about to come on. Mallorca, meantime, have a free kick. They've scored twice from free kicks so far this season. Kubo and Dani Rodriguez, the 2 players over the ball. It looks as if it's going to be Dani Rodriguez to strike it. Three-man wall with Lucas behind them. Well, it's certainly set up to go for goal, but you've got to beat Courtois. Can Dani Rodriguez do that? Scored 3 goals already so far this season. Up he steps.
What do you say to that, Pete? You know, they spend all day, every day in the training ground. Some of them stay behind to practice set plays. Now, if you put it near Courtois and he plucks it out there, or if you put it in a corner and because he's the best in the world, he touches it round, fair enough, super. But I put it in row Z from that position with an hour gone, trailing 1-0 in a game where you're competitive. That's you should have your wages docked for that.
Well, they've scored 26 goals so far this season. 2 of them have come from free kicks, 6 from corners, and they've scored 6 penalties as well. Modric comes on for Fede Valverde. Camavinga also about to come on. I'm not sure who Bruno is making their way off. It's Casemiro.
Before he wasn't initially going to be part of the substitution, but I think after that close booking with a handball incident, Carlo Ancelotti looked over, called over Camavinga and decided to put him on.
And Bruno, look at the expression on his face. We did it, boss. No booking, 1-0 up. That is just, he's not a pantomime villain, that's too strong, but Casemiro is, what do they say here, el más listo de la clase. He's the smartest kid in the classroom, easily.
Lucas Vázquez away, straight to Baba. Antonio Sanchez, back to Baba. Cleared by Lucas Vázquez, straight back to Baba. Kubo, Brian Olivan runs in behind Lucas. He blocks the cross out for a throw. She will launch long into the Real Madrid penalty area. Rodrigo comes away with it.
Just a little thought about Lucas, who's been involved in a lot tonight. As we see, the man who's just gone off, turned the game. Valverde's interception is clean, it's right, it leads to the 1-0. Superb vengeance for what he thought was wrongful treatment from Baba and the referee. But Lucas Vázquez is patently thinks he's competing for a starting place in the Clásico, Pete. Dani Carvajal's form hasn't been good. Barca's wide players are quick and dangerous. Whoever gets it, Lucas thinks he can.
Well, here he is from Luka Modric's pass. He plays the ball back to Camavinga. Mombi to Benzema. Finds Modric, who allows that to run, and Lucas will not get there for a throw. Well, Mallorca with the greater need here, Bruno, but still no signs of imminent changes.
No, Salva Sevilla, Don Pretz and Kang In Lee are the 3 players warming up, and I just thought Salva Sevilla was going to sprint over to the bench, but he was just doing part of the warm-up.
And Salva Sevilla, who's Mallorca's top scorer this season with 4 goals, so that tells you a little bit about the problems that they have. Here's Luka Modric, all from the penalty spot as well. Out to Rodrigo. Baba took a gamble there. He comes away with the ball though. Maffeo. One back by Camavinga. Belgium brings it out from the back. Antonio Sanchez.
That's lovely.
Nicely done into the path of Baba. Brian Olivan. Olivan with the cross, but you can hear the groans behind the goal there.
You know, it's not just affection for the silver fox Salva Sevilla that makes me wonder if Luis Garcia is thinking that with Casemiro off, if Luis Garcia and his staff have studied video after video over the last 3-4 years, seeing Casemiro's effect on the pitch and when he comes off, Madrid often, even if they have a healthier lead than they do now, the structure of their play, the way in which you can punch holes in their central midfield when the Brazilian goes off, must be making them think maybe Salva Sevilla can turn the tide of this game because he's a wonderful footballer.
He has called him over. So
shot comes in from Baba and saved by Courtois. So Salva Sevilla perhaps going to be the first Mallorca change.
I think it'll be his last season at this age for a club like Mallorca, who are looking to renew, looking to get youth and talent in. I think this is his goodbye season to the club that he's so important to. His role in taking them up from the Segunda was utterly extraordinary. That playoff against Deportivo La Coruña, and his quality. So whatever happens to the scoreline tonight, when he comes on, I really hope he does himself justice, just as a little farewell for his last, probably his last top league game at home to Real Madrid.
Well, absolutely right. The player we thought we'd probably never see in the top flight again. He's played with Mallorca down in the third tier and came up with them, essentially getting them promoted twice, in fact. Been a fantastic servant. Here's Camavinga. Draws the foul from Antonio Sanchez. Mallorca without De Galarreta for the rest of the season, so there is a shortage of midfield options. They have been brought in Clement Grenier, who was out of contract, so they're able to recruit him outside the window. He's not going to be the only player to come on. Salva Sevilla. Looks as if Abden Pratt's also. Valjean. Mix up for Mallorca. Mandi can make the most of this. Plays in Benzema. Benzema to Rodrigo, but Olivan clears to Kuba. Kuba gets away from Kroos and Modric.
He's so late in making decisions, Pete. He wins himself space. He's nippy, but his brain doesn't work at the same speed as his feet.
Well, you mentioned it in the first half that his return to Madrid will be, among other things, dependent on
availability of a slot.
Vinicius getting Spanish citizenship, and that will open up a space for him. But frustration for Mallorca. The free kick's been given against Nacho, but they wanted the advantage played here. Prats and Sevilla will now come on.
And we're going to see Marco Asensio as well coming on for Real Madrid.
Well, no doubt he'll get a good welcome as well from the Mallorca supporters. Off goes Angel. Worked hard. Didn't really have too many opportunities. Sanchez has gone off. Sevilla on.
Congratulations to Abdon for his 1972 Burt Reynolds moustache. Very becoming.
It's a great look, and
I know
he's scored one goal this season, which obviously is not the return he would have wanted. But this Mallorca side so short of goals, not got what they were hoping for in the summer from the likes of Firmino and from Angel, and from this man Kubo with the cross. It's blocked by Lucas, cleared by Olivan.
Jackie, shift your butt.
Oh, a mistake from Alaba. A rare moment in the centre of Madrid's defence there. There was no one to run in behind him. Courtois clears.
That literally was what the bench were shouting at the young Japanese strikers. Get a move on, Jackie. Work.
Dani Carvajal is also going to come on.
Valden and Rodrigo have collided there, and there's a yellow card for the Mallorca captain. In fact, it's Rayo, of course, not Valden. Got the ball first, but then studs down onto Rodrigo. Ricci had run in behind Alaba but couldn't get on the end of the ball as it ran past him. Here come those changes with Asensio.
A fear for Rodrigo, Pete, because yeah, there was contact in the ball, but the FIFA laws now talk about whether it's a rash idea to go for the ball, not whether you touch it first, which I know is not what you were proposing at all, but one of the ideas is to say, well, if you touch the ball but you go through and you hit somebody's ankles, full studs on. Rodrigo's ankle took a big hit there from Rayo, and I just hope at a stage
and he's going to have to come off.
Yeah, it looked bad from the instant we saw that. Full studs in and a joint to the ankle. Such a shame for a kid who deserves a break. Needs more game time. Played so well. Turned the tie. You know, was treated like a hero by his fellow players in the dressing room afterwards. And there you go. That's football, 70 minutes in, and I think that's ankle ligaments.
Well, that performance that you mentioned in midweek against PSG certainly put him back ahead of Asensio.
He just, from the kickoff, you know, when people could barely believe that it was 2-0, from the kickoff, he swallows up Idris Gueye. And Gueye is in a daze, and Rodrigo is on him instantly, and that's the reason that the ball breaks forward towards Vinicius, and then I think Marquinhos squares it in, and Benzema takes it on the run, and it's 3-0, and the Bernabeu goes crazy. That kid, his mobility, his aggression, his will to win the ball was typical of what Pintus and Ancelotti have asked the entire squad to do, and just for, no matter if you're a Madridista or not, for anybody who likes football, that's just a horrible sight to any time, horrible timing for him now.
Well, sometimes the injury doesn't look too bad, and then the scan brings bad news in the morning, and sometimes it works the other way around. But as you say, Graham, he doesn't look in good shape there as he's carried off the pitch. Marty will take the throw. Here's Camavinga. Modric back to Dani Carvajal. Camavinga once more. Modric finds Asensio. It's one back by Kubo and cleared up to Murici. He's now got Abden Prats for as a strike partner. Camavinga gives him no time on the ball, wins the ball back, but the referee blows for a Mallorca free kick.
Really odd, given how much we've enjoyed the Benzema-Vinicius movement and partnership and understanding. When Murici gets hold of that ball, Abden goes and hides behind a Madrid player. Simply because I think they haven't built a partnership yet. But he put himself in the one position that the Albanian Kosovan couldn't find him, which is not how you build a partnership.
Flicked on by Murici. Kubo can't get on the end of it. Carvajal can bring it away for Real Madrid. Into Modric. Yes. Flicked effortlessly in towards Camavinga. Now he spreads the ball out left to Mondi. Vinicius back to cross. Modric.
And look at Vinicius' movement, exactly as Bruno was telling us that he was been instructed to do. There he is, he's playing a second striker inside left or 10, and it's Mondi who's the winger.
Well, the response hasn't been good after going behind so far from Mallorca. And Madrid just keeping possession at the moment. And maybe some frustration creeping in for the Mallorca supporters as well, Bruno.
A few whistles as they see Real Madrid calmly knocking the ball around. No reaction from Mallorca, no bite, nothing so far after that goal from Real Madrid, and expecting something more, at least a final push from their players.
You'd be forced to wonder how far Kang In Lee is out of favour if that extremely talented but emotionally far too volatile South Korean isn't considered by Luis Garcia to have a role here.
Well, he does seem to have that urgency that suddenly they look as if they're lacking, but he's not been called upon so far. Salva Sevilla with Olivan to his left, goes inside instead and looks for the run of Prats. It's a good run, but it's well read by Alaba, who sends it back to Courtois, who clears it. Olivan does well. He's got time and space to produce a decent cross here, and very nearly put that on Morici's head. Alaba heads clear. Baljen trying to get away from Vinicius. Vinicius working hard, wins the ball back. Still Vinicius away from Rafael into the path of Benzema. Benzema gets away from his man too. Asensio waits for the cross. Vinicius is sprinting into space too. Benzema finds Vinicius. Vinicius goes down. The referee points to the penalty spot, and it's the odd 1-2 again. Vinicius and Benzema.
How glorious was it? I mean, I heard the tone in your voice when we find normally the winger back at left back helping out, and a little dribble in midfield. This ball is lovely. This ball is absolutely glorious. He catches Benzema onside, no question about it. And then you saw it, because the early ball across the face of the defence to Asensio is probably the one. But Benzema turns, looks for his partner. There's a shove, and it's a penalty. I don't think, even though we saw a couple of similar instances in the first 5 or 6 minutes where Sanchez Martinez said, no, I'm not interested. Clear-cut, terrible decision. Beautiful transition football by Benzema and Vinicius.
Yellow card comes out as well, I think, for Pablo Maffeo, as we wait for Benzema to step up. It's Benzema against Sergio Rico, going for goal number 21 in La Liga this season. Had to wait some time to take the kick. Finally the referee's ready. Up steps Benzema, and he scores. Real Madrid 2, Mallorca 0. Benzema with his 21st goal of the season in the league.
He's a gift from the heavens, particularly if you're one of them. Look how pleased they are. Some of them are like, yeah, whatever, it's Benzema scoring again, we knew. But he overtook Alfredo Di Stefano last week by beating Paris Saint-Germain with his hat-trick. And I think many people thought, well, you know, that marks him down as something special, and, you know, never mind Raul in position number 2. But I think Benzema's got different ideas, don't you?
Well, that takes him to 310 goals for Real Madrid, and Raul is on 323, so it's well within his grasp to finish his Real Madrid career as the club's all-time second top scorer. He's not going to catch Ronaldo, but
principally because he spent 8, or was it 9 years
making sure Ronaldo scored. Yeah, exactly. Baljen hangs another one up in the air, and it's won again in the air by Morici, but they've not been able to win those second balls, Mallorca.
Mallorca going to make a couple of substitutions with Kang In Lee and Amat preparing to come on, and Real Madrid also, someone's making a gesture towards the bench that they're asking to come off. I can see Benzema saying it, but it's for someone else. Marcelo's the player who's quickly getting rid of his tracksuit, but I'm not sure who's the player who's asking for the substitution.
Well, Madrid are about to make their last change then. Kang In on for Taki. Olivan with the throw. Courtois punches clear.
What a lovely player in his prime Amat was for Getafe. Then the most brutal injury took him out of their plans, left him out of the game for nearly 2 years. He's rebuilding things slowly here, but whether he's got quite the same confidence, quite the same pace, I would argue possibly not.
Well, he's playing on this left-hand side as Mallorca attack. Kang In Lee's gone out to the right.
That's Mendy. Mendy's the player who's struggling physically. He's gone now down to ground. He's the player who's been asking for the substitution. So injury concerns there for Carlo Ancelotti ahead of this weekend's clash against Barcelona.
He's missed several weeks, guys, hasn't he? First of all through injury, then through suspension. He's a guy who gives physique, aerial ability and pace to the defence, but his link-up play with Vinicius tends to be extremely good. If he's not fit for this weekend, then it's a loss for Madrid.
Well, there was a doubt because he was on one yellow card from suspension, but as it is, it's injury now that will be the concern, as you say, going into that game on Sunday, as we see again the push from Olivan on Vinicius that led to the penalty, which was dispatched by Benzema.
You're right, of course, to differentiate the suspension that Mendy was coming back from was European because of the booking he incurred in Paris and missed the return leg. Hey, they didn't notice in the end, maybe they won't this weekend.
Mostly done by Kang In Lee. Back to Salva Sevilla. Pablo Maffeo. First test for Marcelo. She wins the header, it bounces down in the area. Nacho clears it, only as far as Salva Sevilla.
He's a patient man, the Costa international, because he's been doing such good work all night. Nobody's taken advantage of it yet. He keeps on doing it.
Here's Vinicius. Tried to feed Toni Kroos. He hasn't given up either, and he's won a corner, Vinicius. They also haven't been able to put the ball on Marich's head from the byline, have they, Graham?
No, they've given him nothing easy, Pete. Yeah, he's had to be, you know, he's in lots of 40-60 situations. I accept that completely, right.
Well, he's now back defending, as is Abde Prats. Marcelo with the cross. Of course, Benzema, and it's into the back of the net. It's 3-0, and we have to keep counting. 22 now in the league for Benzema. 311 career goals for Real Madrid, and Marcelo makes an immediate impact coming on.
75 goals now between Vinicius and Benzema, either they've scored or assisted, and you have to appreciate Marcelo's quietness there, because that's, yeah, I do this for fun. I could do that in my sleep. You know, try and see me out of the club before the end of the season, no chance. Yeah, I'll be ready for the weekend in the Clasico, and boy, give me any space and I'll just put it. He picked out an eyebrow there, didn't he? It's just, there was, all Benzema had to do was get up. There was no movement needed whatsoever. It's world class leaping, directed into an area where Sergio Rico cannot get it. But boy, Pete, Bruno, am I selling you a story that you'll buy, that we're going to miss Marcelo when he leaves at the end of the season?
No, absolutely, and goes down in the club's history as the greatest left back, or is Roberto Carlos going to have something to say about that? It's a difficult choice, isn't it? It's an impossible choice.
Trophies or
trophies? It
or
would definitely be Marcelo, wouldn't it?
Same sense of humour, I think. And his boys coming through the junior ranks, Marcelo. So thank goodness for that.
And Marcelo's hobbling as well now, Bruno. It's not Marcelo.
Benzema. Yeah. Karim Benzema hobbling after the goal. He also had an exchange with Carlo Ancelotti, who made a gesture sort of to say the game's over, you know, no need to really make too much of an effort, because obviously they don't have any substitutions left. So Karim Benzema's probably going to just try and walk this one out these last 7 minutes or so, because he's clearly in a little bit of discomfort, as we all know, as we've all said throughout the commentary of this game. There is that huge clash coming just around the corner at the weekend.
And it's a muscle injury that he's just back from. He just made it to the Parc des Princes tie against Paris Saint-Germain, but famously in the tunnel, Mbappe said to him, "Oh, you made it, you're not injured." He said, "Well, I still am a little bit," but got back to full fitness so quickly and dazzled the world last week. Just hope he's not injured. Really hope he's not injured.
Bardien from Mallorca. Cleared by Oliver. Camavinga forward to Marcelo.
long conversation now there between Benzema and Modric, and Benzema isn't happy. But then, if you remember well, in the Bernabeu, just before the third goal, he was doing exactly that, a little hop about how much pain he was in, and there he goes. That's a horrible sight.
Well, Marcelo and Asensio and Modric continue to play. The Benzema's down in the middle of the pitch. And this is not good news for Real Madrid.
I'm convinced that Modric was saying to him, stop, don't play on, stop it. There was a long conversation, 30-40 seconds in the middle of open play, and Modric was saying, don't go on. Ah, there, look, there. That's Modric saying to his manager, look what's happened.
Well, some concerned faces, Bruno, on the in the Madrid technical area as we see again the goal.
Yeah, this goal here, after he scores, I felt like he was slightly limping away. They celebrated just in front of me, and I thought it looked like he was limping a little bit. I didn't know if it was something I was making out of the situation. He didn't seem to be too much of a grimace on his face, but then obviously it's something that's grown. Yeah, it's obviously something that's evolved throughout the game, and he's been looking over for a while now at Carlo Ancelotti, and well, they haven't really known what to do with it.
I swear to you, this is a hangover from last Wednesday night, because there was a stage at which, when Paris were still in the tie, when first Militao didn't look as if he could carry on, but he did. Then Benzema was hobbling and hopping around for a minute and a half fully before he then scored, and that doesn't look like he's had the way he's explaining that to the physio, it looks more like there's a pull or a strain rather than a kick.
Meanwhile, change for Mallorca. Baba has come off, and Clement Grenier has come on for his debut. Ball back from Alaba to Courtois. Those two goals from Benzema as well, take him to 32 for the season, and that's his best. That equals his best ever as well, from the 2011-12 season. Let's hope he's back soon to go beyond that number. Kubo. Kang in, back to Salva Sevilla. Chance here for Amat, lays off to Kang In Lee. He strikes it well enough. It took a deflection and wins the corner. Scored that sensational goal early in the season at the Bernabeu in the 6-1 defeat, but hasn't really been allowed to build on that, hasn't had the opportunities to do so. That's his corner. It's cleared by Carvajal. Marcelo into Asensio, who's already scored 3 goals this season against Mallorca. Tries to play in Vinicius. Ball forward to Amat. Olivan into Prats, back to Salva Sevilla. Out to Kang In Lee. Nicely done by him into Abden Prats. Out to Maffeo. Maffeo with the cross, and Kang In Lee heads just over the top. Well, he's been very bright since coming on, and he would certainly argue that he should have come on sooner.
I think it suggests that Luis Garcia probably has been too conservative, has waited too long to give a little bit more mobility, a little bit more aggression. Kang has been better with the limited possession he's had than young Taki was throughout the most of the game. And pre-match, Luis Garcia said there's been a handful of games where, okay, recently, maybe I wouldn't always argue we should have won, but we should have taken points. He pointed particularly to the game at Celta Vigo, and tonight again, it's a comprehensive defeat. It gives Madrid a 10-point lead at the top. It's it's an historic performance by Los Blancos, but Mallorca haven't been bad.
Kangin Lee's in space. There's a chance for him here, and Marcelo gets back just in time. The clearance goes to Murici. His shot is blocked by Carvajal. Well, very nearly on the score sheet there. Kangin Lee.
It's been a dignified, competitive performance by the Islanders.
Carvajal tries to clear, does clear at the second attempt. Do you think they'll stay up, Graham? So much can change. We know there's 10 games left. Espanyol up next for them.
I would be absolutely certain, given the quality of their coach, the quality of their squad, had they a little bit more goal power, but I think Murici will solve that, so the answer is yes.
In comes the cross, and Camavinga got there before Abden Prats. Here's that chance again for Kangin Lee. Did well to get away from Alaba, but he ran into Marcelo. So Marcelo contributing, making important contributions at both ends of the pitch. 5 minutes have been added on. Groans from Mallorca fans. I'm not sure if that's because they want more or they want less, because it's all over here, and they know they're not going to take anything from this game. Brian Olivan. Abden Prats wants the ball played early. It's knocked back instead to Amat. Kangin Lee's pass goes just beyond Brian Olivan. Are you able to see, Bruno, if Benzema took his place on the bench or went straight down the tunnel?
No, he made his way down the tunnel, so he's probably receiving treatment now in the change rooms.
And whether the race is still on for him vis-a-vis the Bernabeu on Sunday night against Barcelona, the Champions League draw that they fought so hard to be in is this Friday. Matches come thick and fast. There's only a week between the two quarter-finals. You'd suspect that, much though everybody watching around the world wants him to be part of Los Blancos' classical performance, the race may be about being ready for the next opponents in Europe.
Push to Carvajal under pressure from Olivan. Murici. Kangin Lee with a chance here. Shoots, and Courtois makes his customary late save just to ensure the clean sheet.
But they've done good business, Mallorca, haven't they, in taking in Murici? He's more than just a physical presence. He's got timing. He works brutishly hard. His layoffs are good.
Well, they're still going for what will only be a consolation goal. Murici fires that one over. You just wonder if Kangin Lee's energy in and around Murici might be something that Garcia Plaza can use a little bit more between now and the end of the season.
I have to agree about that. And you'd like to see in matches where they're not so starved of quality possession, Angel too, as he did against Athletic, can read the knockdowns from this huge player who I think, I'd argue, is still blessed with really good reading of the game and good skills too.
Courtois to take the kick. Then we've got just 3 minutes left. A very satisfactory night for Real Madrid, apart from the injuries. Rodrigo and Benzema both off in the second half. Here's Vinicius. The flag for now has stayed down. The shot takes a deflection. Flag was raised.
And they'll miss Mondi. Let's hope that Mondi's was precautionary, that he just decided to catch the problem, which top players often do. They're often smart enough to say, nah, this is a problem. And we get told there's an overload rather than actual damage to fibres or muscles or tendon. So you would hope that it isn't a 3-player injury list coming out of the back of this huge victory.
Yeah, Mondi too, you're right. 3 goals but 3 injuries for Madrid. Kangin Lee gives that back to Maffeo. In fact, it runs to Amat. He knocks it back to Pablo Maffeo. The cross comes in. It's behind everyone. Abden Prats will reach it. Olivan. Roll to Salva Sevilla. Back out to Maffeo. His cross is blocked. Rayo. Kangin Lee. Kangin Lee with the cross, and not too far away from converting that.
But you've won your argument. Kangin Lee, if he doesn't edge tacky out of the next time there's a choice between the two of them to start, then the coach hasn't been watching the same game as us.
Just a little bit of chemistry between the two, and
but just a little bit of chemistry can cook up enough of a response between now and the end of the season to answer your question about whether they stay up or not. There was a point, given how they started, where I thought genuinely they wouldn't be in danger. They are now, but yeah, I think they stay up.
Camavinga's header doesn't find Vinicius. Asensio, Camavinga, Vinicius to Asensio. Asensio with a shot, deflected behind for a corner. Kang In Lee goes long, looking for a man. Shows no slouch, gets back in front of him, but he's intelligently given that to Olivan. He provides the cross straight to Courtois, and there is the final whistle. Job well done by Real Madrid, Graham.
Absolutely clinical. Some of it was absolutely 5-star, golden gloss. The pile that hangs over it is the fact that potentially they lost 3 players for a big game at the weekend, a less important game strategically. Now they've got a 10-point lead.
Well, as Graham says, 10 games to go, 10-point lead at the top, a very convincing Real Madrid. Now 5 straight defeats for Mallorca. It's finished here in the Visit Mallorca Stadium. Mallorca 0, Real Madrid 3. Well, we can have a look at what that does to the table before we get to speak to a player from each side. Real Madrid now with 66 points, Sevilla second with 56, Barcelona with a game in hand have 51, so 15-point gap going into Sunday's Clásico. Atletico Madrid currently 4th, also on 51 points, also 15 behind Real Madrid. And down at the bottom, Mallorca with 26 points, just still 2 points above the bottom 3.
Sacáis 10 puntos al Sevilla. ¿Era el golpe definitivo a la Liga a falta de 10 jornadas?
Buenas noches. Sí, era importante ganar hoy.
Well, it was important to win tonight.
Bueno, los rivales que vienen abajo ya han perdido puntos.
We know that the teams around us have lost games over the weekend, or lost points. They pressed us very high in the first half, and they made it difficult for us.